Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe, Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm going to smoke up some Texas-style pulled pork. Stay tuned. All right, so what we're starting with is a 10-pound pork shoulder. Now, to make it Texas style, traditional Texas style anyway, it's salt and pepper, and that's all I'm going to use today. I'm going to show you the ingredients here, or the mix ratio, I should say. So I'm using half a cup of black pepper. This is coarse cut. Just like that. And a quarter of a cup of kosher salt. There we go. Real simple ingredients, guys. Make sure you mix it up good. Now, a lot of people like to use a 50-50 ratio. To me, that's a lot of salt, okay? So I like a little bit more pepper than I do salt. So again, that was half a cup of black pepper and a quarter cup of salt. So there we go. So this is my pork shoulder, and now pork shoulders have a lot of fat on the inside, okay? Now, if you cook it with the fat on, what's gonna happen is once it's smoked, you're gonna be removing this because it's a lot of fat. And you're gonna also be removing all of the rubs and that bark that you worked so hard to get. So I like to take a lot of this off. I'm gonna leave some of it on, but I'm gonna take a lot of it off. See, this is just a sheet of fat here. You don't need that. Okay. You can see the bacon right under the fat right here. That's what they call the bacon. Just try to stay right above that. Okay. As I mentioned, I'm going to leave some of it on, but I'm taking off quite a bit of it. Right above that bacon. Just like that. A little bit more right here. Just like that. Okay, so that looks good. So I removed probably a good pound and a half of fat here. And this is what I want here. Now I'm just gonna look it over, make sure I don't have any excess pieces of fat here, like I do here. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this off. This is where money muscle is at. You can see that really nice marbled money muscle. So here we go. Now, I am going to be cooking this in my Yoder Frontiersman, and I'm going to be cooking it with the fat cap up. Okay, so here's my salt and pepper mix. Give it a nice coating, a good healthy coating. This is a big piece of meat, and it can take it, okay? Rub it in there. Get the sides. Get the horn side of the shoulder as well. If I can grab it, there we go. Get the money muscle. And then last but not least is get that fat cap. Again, this is Texas style pulled pork. I've been craving a good pulled pork, so we're going to be smoking this bad boy up today. Just like that. Now I'm going to save some of this salt and pepper mix, because when I wrap, I'm going to add a little bit more rub into the wrap. So let's head out to the smoker. Stay tuned. All right, so we're outside of the Yoder Frontiersman, And I wanted to show you the setup here of why I'm cooking this shoulder with the fat cap up. This smoker has tuning plates that run all the way from the firebox all the way to the stack with certain holes, and as the tuning plates go to the left, the holes on the tuning plates get larger, which allows more heat, more smoke to come in. So this smoker is the majority of the heat is going to come from the bottom up, okay? But with the damper door open, I am allowing direct heat from that firebox and smoke to come in and come over the top versus going all the way to the bottom of the tuning plates. Now you will get some heat that comes from the bottom, but the majority of the heat on this cook, I want it to be on the top. That's why I'm cooking with a fat cap down. Now, I am going to be cooking at 275 degrees. If I wanted to lower that, all I got to do is move this damper door, which again cuts the heat coming directly from the firebox into the pit, and now it's forcing that heat to go under the tuning plates. Again, but on this cook, I'm going to cook with the door completely open. If it gets too hot, let's say 300 degrees on the top left side, all I got to do is close it down a little bit and fine tune the temperature. It's like a knob on an oven. It's super easy to work. So let's put that pork shoulder on. Stay tuned. All right, so my smoker is up to temperature, again, 275 degrees on the top left side. So let's put this pork shoulder on. I am using these pizza sheets that you guys have seen me use plenty of times before. And I love to use this because I can easily spin that pork shoulder around. If I place this directly on the rack, you know, it's going to stick a little bit, and you will have the tendency to kind of break that shoulder apart. So I'm going to start with the fattier side, pointing towards that firebox. Just like that, right in the middle. Put it in there, just like that. Now I'm going to be spritzing with apple cider vinegar and water, mixed at 50-50, but probably not for maybe 2 hours. So I'll bring you guys back in about 2 hours. Stay tuned. All right, we're at the 2 hour mark now. Let's take a look at this pork shoulder. Oh yeah, has a beautiful color. I haven't spritzed or anything yet, but let me rotate that around. It's got a really nice bark building already. Again, I'm using apple cider vinegar and water mixed at 50-50. I'm going to go ahead and spray it. The apple cider vinegar does give it a little bit of flavor, not a whole lot, but it's mainly to keep the meat nice and juicy. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this. And again, that's another reason why I like to use these sheets here, because you can spin your meats pretty easy. So just spritzing it. Give it a good bath. Just like that. Again, we're 2 hours in. Now, I'm not going to wrap until I have a nice dark bark, which we're establishing a nice bark already. You guys can see that there. So it's looking good. Only 2 hours in. Temps have been about 275, maybe jumping up to 300. I have dropped 2 splits of wood in those 2 hours. I just dropped another one right now. That's why you see a little bit more smoke than normal. But we'll check back in about 2 hours, so stay tuned. All right, so we're at the 4 hour mark now, and this pork shoulder is looking really good. Has a good bark going on. You can see the meat already has a smoke ring. You can kind of see it. Now, this is part of the reason why I like to remove some of the fat cap, or most of the fat cap, because it will split on you like this up here. But that's no problem. That's not really going to affect the overall flavor. But look at that. Look at that bark. So I'm actually going to leave it in the same position. I'm going to actually turn it just once and give it another, probably 30 more minutes on this side. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and spritz. Oh man, this pork shoulder is going to be so good. I want to get a lot of smoke on that. You know, I personally like the heavy smoke flavor, but you know, I try to run a pretty clean smoke, so it's not dirty smoke flavor. It's nice clean smoke. So let's give it another 30 minutes and we'll come back and wrap it. Stay tuned. All right, so we're back 4.5 hours later. I'm going to go ahead and wrap. Now, I did take an internal temperature. We're sitting at 155 degrees internal. Again, 4.5 hours. Now, as far as adding anything to the wrap, I'm not going to put anything other than a little bit of spritz. Again, this is apple cider vinegar and water. Mix it 50-50. And a little bit more of that salt and pepper mix. Just a little bit. There we go. So just a simple foil wrap. Now I would normally use butcher paper, but in this case, I'm using foil paper just to speed up the process. I'm not worried about, this isn't like a competition shoulder or anything like that, okay? So then go ahead and spin it around one time and double wrap it. We're gonna cook this until it's really tender, so probably 205 to 210 degrees, or until it probes tender, so stay tuned. All right, so we're at 8 hours into the cook now, and I wanna get an internal temperature of the shoulder. See where we're at. Still not probing as tender as I want it to be, but I'm sitting right at 200 degrees, believe it or not. So 200 degrees, it's still not probing as tender as I want it to be. So I'm gonna give it another, I don't know, 30 minutes, come back and check the temperature. Again, I'm shooting for 205. If it probes tender, 205, I'll pull it. If not, I'll let it go up to 210. So we'll see you guys inside. Stay tuned. All right, so our pork shoulder is done. And one correction that I gotta make is earlier when the pork shoulder hit 200 degrees, I mentioned it was 8 hours, but it was 7 hours and 30 minutes. So total cook time was right at 8 hours. So it took another 30 minutes to get to 205 degrees. And the shoulder started to probe really tender. So I have, it has been resting for about an hour now. It's still plenty hot. And again, I did take some of the fat off. So this is all good. I can mix this into the pulled pork. So I'm just gonna grab some of this. And you know you have a good pork shoulder when the bone just slips out like this, nice and clean. So we're just gonna move that aside, right over here, and grab some of this pulled pork. I'm gonna put it in this pan. I don't even need my shredding claws. I mean, it's just coming apart by itself. Look at this. I mean, that is just absolutely perfect. Okay, so grab some of that bark in here. Now, if you see some heavy fat pieces, go ahead and take them out. I was gonna use my claws, but this is super tender. And as you can see, it's still really hot. Okay, got a good smoke ring on the pork itself. So here's some of that bacon that was under the fat cap. This is exactly what this is right here. This is really good pulled pork right here. So get some of that bark mixed in there with that salt and pepper. And really not a whole lot of big fat pockets actually. Here's a little piece that I'm gonna take out. Here's another little piece. But other than that, everything looks really good in here. So give this a good mix. I'm actually gonna make a sandwich out of this. Show you guys what I've been craving. The reason I made this pulled pork. Oh man, this smells so good in here. This is absolutely perfect. There we go. So let me move this aside here. Now for the sandwich that I've been craving, you gotta have yourself some of the Texas toast. Okay, and to me, the perfect sandwich has a little bit of onions. Just like that, maybe 3 onions like that. Some fresh pickles. Just slice these up myself. Just like that. And a mountain of this pulled pork. Just like that. Oh yeah. Now barbecue sauce is optional. I think it should be optional. One thing I don't like is eating at a barbecue place that has barbecue sauce that's already mixed into the pulled pork. To me, Texas pulled pork is just like this. And if somebody wants barbecue sauce, just put it on the side. They can use it as a dip if they wanted to. So I'm gonna back the camera up and give this a taste. Stay tuned. All right, so I got my sandwich ready. Only thing left to do is to give it a taste. And if it tastes as good as it smells, I'm gonna be happy with this sandwich. But look at this. I buttered the toast on both sides. This is Texas toast. Again, we're having some Texas pulled pork, so nothing better than Texas pulled pork. And again, I toasted it and put butter on both sides. So here we go, monster bite. You know, that toast and that smoky pulled pork, the crispy onion, the pickle, just goes so well together. Now, again, as I mentioned, I'm not a guy that likes to have the barbecue sauce mixed in with the pork. A lot of barbecue establishments will do that. I like to put my sauce on the side. If I like it, add a little bit. This is some of the Victory Lane spicy barbecue sauce. Yes, you can buy it by the gallon, so I'm gonna try it with some sauce. Spicy. That pulled pork is some of the best pulled pork that I've ever had. If you guys have never tried just salt and pepper, no injection, just good smoke, I highly recommend it. You know how I mentioned earlier too, when I started this cook, that I really don't like to add a lot of salt. And it doesn't need salt. It's perfect on the salt for me. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys like this video. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.